Alphabet has won the generative AI race, but not perhaps for the reason that you may think. More on that later, but right now let's dive into the press release and just look at some of the hardcore numbers. First of all, oh, sorry, didn't mean to have that up already. We have this Gemini 2.5, our most intelligent AI model ever. First of all, I want to explain very clearly that everybody, Google, Anthropic, XAI, OpenAI, so on and so forth, they're all on different release cycles. So basically, when they release, it's not uncommon for them to take the lead on whatever metrics they are testing against. I.e., when XAI came out, it was the latest AI to have come out by anybody, and it went to the top of the leaderboard and all the AI metrics syncs. Before that, OpenAI had released theirs, and they jumped to the top. And so they're kind of all on this staggered release cycle chain. And whenever someone releases something, it's usually at the top or very close. And so that's just kind of how it's been for the last 2 years. However, Gemini 2.5 did something slightly different. It debuted at number 1 on LM Arena, which is, as I explained, is not uncommon. But when it did, first of all, let's come up here to the top where it was. It beat the previous leader, which was Grok 3 Preview, by 39 points. Which, if you don't know what this is, it might not sound like a lot, but it's an incredible amount. It's so incredible that literally it's never been done on this chart since LM Arena has started tracking the leaderboard, which is all the way back to Llama, Alpaca 13B or some of the lower ones, Llama. So it goes back to, I believe, two and a half years ago, to when the first AI came out, generative AI from OpenAI. It really just started getting going. So that's very impressive, a 43-point lead. The next thing was that when OpenAI released their model just recently, because they just happened to release a model close to Google, very unfortunate for OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.0, even though it was released, now imagine this. Imagine that Gemini 2.5 didn't come in. This is what you would expect to see. Okay, so again, ignore Google's release. Poor Sam Altman, cult leader, trying to be Elon Musk 2.0. I think he actually is succeeding too, right? He's being a carnival barker like Elon Musk. He likes to lie. He likes to be a promise company. This is what he was looking for. He was looking for this to not be released, for him to come out, and then he would have the lead. Just like Grok 3 had a 6-point lead over GPT 4.5. We do see that GPT 4.5 had a sizable 17-point lead. And we also see that Gemini 2.0 Pro Experimental had a 20-point lead. Those are some of the biggest jumps ever too. But instead of Sam getting an incremental lead, like what's usual, if you come through this, you can see 4 points, 9 points, 8 points, 3 points, 5 points, etc. Instead of that happening, he debuts at number 2. Can't like that. And he's 35 points behind Google still, which there isn't a 35-point gap on here for anybody else. There is not a single 35-point gap on here besides this one right here at the top. However, I want to be clear. This is not the reason why Alphabet has won the generative AI. So you might think, well, if it's not El Marina, is it because it just destroyed everything else and all the benchmarks? Which it did. But again, this isn't too unusual. When something comes out, it usually leads in the majority of the test, right? You can see that, Gemini 2.5 had some nice ones. Now remember the previous leader in El Marina before Gemini 2.5 was Grok 3, which came out like 4 weeks prior, I think. And you can see like it has some big leads on it, some things, right? So it wasn't incremental change, it was big. You might think that Grok has the lead here, but these are multiple passes. 93.3, this is multiple passes at the AIM 2025 mathematics test. We can see in a single pass, Grok 3 beta 77.3, Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental 86.7, sizable difference. They didn't do multiple passes. But this is also not the reason why Alphabet has won the generative AI race. You might say it's actual user experience. This is something that I have tried to do with every AI. This is a legitimate problem I have. I like making these channels, but my voice is very deep, so I know I don't have the best voice to listen to. And so everyone's like, install the Reaper plugins, into OBS. But I don't use OBS. I use Slobs, Streamlabs OBS. So I search the internet because I'm a tech guy. I know how to search the internet. And all my usual places say, why are you using Slobs? Use OBS. But I don't want to use OBS because Slobs has a much nicer interface. But then I just get told, you're a moron. Use OBS, OBS, OBS. Stop using Slobs. It's too easy. It's for noobs. All this stuff. But Slobs, is nicer. It's not nicer like functionality, but it looks nicer. It has an easier layout, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of like a Linux, like an Arch Linux versus, a regular operating system discussion. Many of you probably won't understand that, but don't worry. So anyways, I have tried to get these Reaper plugins installed forever. And with every other AI I've tried, including the other Google ones, they have all gotten lost in the context eventually and started circular thinking, and just basically it's been worthless. Gemini Advanced 2.5 Pro Experimental, first of all, was the most thorough I've ever had. And it was the only one to realize, hey, this just isn't going to work. It looks like you need to try something else. And I was like, what? That's absolutely crazy, right? None of the other ones, at least for me, had ever did that. They just kept circling around. Check this, check this. I'd be like, I've already checked that. I've already checked that. Every other single one. And again, including ones from Google. Gemini Advanced 2.5 Pro, first one that said, hey, we have literally checked everything on your computer. We've checked to see if it's using the Rosetta translation later because you're at Max Silicon, you have it. Every time we change something, we go back and check other things because that's what happens in IT. You change one thing, but then it changes something else that you already checked before. But because you changed something, you had to recheck those parameters. It was very thorough. I'd give it an advanced technical support rating. Absolutely the best job I've ever seen on that too, and just thoroughness. But the main thing was it got to the point where it said, you have checked everything. This just isn't going to work. And I was like, hey, it stopped trying to be the nicest guy that can't say no. It didn't fall into a loop where it just got lost in the context and kept suggesting the same things to me over and over. I was absolutely amazed. But that is also not the reason why that Alphabet has won the generative AI wars. So what is it, you might say? What is this magical reason, Ruben? What could it be? It's because now definitively, without a doubt, we know generative AI is going to be commoditized. And that, I've been saying this before, but now it's official. Okay? Why do you say this is official? Because Google is pulling ahead. And if Google is the one, if they're the one to win, either they're winning and it's not commoditized, though I think they're going to commoditize it anyways. Even if they were outright winning and had the best bot by a significant margin, which they do right now, but let's just say they had like a 3-year advantage. I still think they would commoditize it. I'll tell you a little bit later on why I believe that. But even if they aren't the ones in the lead, they are close enough. They're not going to let anybody pull ahead of them to the point that they cannot commoditize it. And so understand, on this channel before, I've already been saying this is what Meta has been working for. This is what DeepSeek is working for. Okay, Meta has other revenue streams. They don't need to have their AI assistant be charging 20, 40, 50, 60, 80 bucks a month for it. They don't need that. It doesn't matter to them. And the truth is, it doesn't matter for Google either. They might be charging for it now, but they're probably just, when they charge for it, they're throwing it in basically for free with their package. So it's just like, this is how generative AI is going to work. It's not going to be what Sam Altman, the new Elon 2.0 cult leader, carnival barker, right? The new and improved Elon Musk, lies about everything, but lies a little bit better. It's not going to be what Sam Altman says, where you're going to pay $20,000 a month, right? You know, I mean, he's coming up with Elon numbers. He's just like Elon Jr. It's nuts. There's nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, that's how the market is nowadays. It loves guys like that. But no one's going to be paying $20,000 a month except Sam Altman's cult followers. Of course, they're going to be out there. Just like there are Elon guys who will slob on his knob. They'll pay him $20,000 so they can do that. They'll be like, oh, we don't care that Google's Gemini does everything Grok does for free. We will pay you anything. Okay. Absolutely. We know that. Okay. 100%. But the world at large, they're not going to do it. Absolutely not. They're going to go for the free product that does the same thing as anything the paid ones do. And that's why Google has won, because they don't need to charge for it, because they already have so many other revenue streams. And they even beat out Facebook because they have their own cloud, i.e., when Facebook runs their AI, they do have to worry the fact that they're investing so much into hardware and that Wall Street wants to see some kind of return on that investment. Now Meta generates so much money, and they're using AI in other ways instead of just generative AI to deliver returns that I don't think that really matters too much. But it matters to Google even less because they have their own cloud. And not only do they have their own cloud, but they are the third largest cloud provider in the world. And as of right now, they're growing faster than the other two ahead of them, Microsoft and AWS. Now, do I think they're going to catch up to Microsoft and AWS? Not anytime soon. But third is a solid position in the cloud market. Remember that when you come to markets like that are with businesses, very rarely do you have a monopoly. Usually you have a duopoly, or 3 companies or 4 or 5. You never see anything like that with just one company. It's usually with consumer stuff, especially in America, where we see these monopolies. But typically not when you're dealing with enterprise business services. So Google is looking at this and they're like, hey, we have our own cloud. We can invest all this stuff into hardware, all this money into hardware, but it doesn't matter because when we don't use this hardware, we just rent it out and we get other people to pay for it. 2, we're developing our own chips, which are running our queries, our models more efficiently and better than Jensen Huang's NVIDIA chips. 3, we can sell these chips. The people using them, we can sell it to people and get money off of them. 4, we make tons of money from other places. Okay? So our AI assistants are just going to enhance our ability to make money off of other revenue streams. And so that's why they've won. And nobody else can do that. Okay? Even Microsoft and Amazon, who own the number 1 and 2 clouds in the world, they do not directly have their own large-scale proprietary generative AIs. Okay? Now, I wouldn't, without a doubt, they are working on it. I guarantee. But both of them on the large-scale ones are invested in third parties. Microsoft's invested in OpenAI, and AWS is invested in Anthropic. So they're relying on a third party. So the number 1 and 2 cloud doesn't have their own large-scale proprietary. I guarantee they have something, but they don't have, as far as I know, as far as what's been reported, they don't have anything large-scale. It's not public-facing in any way, which would be odd, because if they had something, obviously they would make it public-facing. But instead, Copilot is powered by OpenAI. So they don't have that, right? The only person that competes with them is China, right? So China, I believe Alibaba has their own generative AI, and they are what? The 4th largest cloud provider in the world. So they're the only ones close to Google. And that's kind of funny because when you look at self-driving technology, they're the only ones close to Google too. Because right now, Google leads in that by a wide margin, right? Waymo is by far in America is the only one giving robo-taxi rides, 100% fully autonomous. But Baidu just started giving, they changed their entire fleet to autonomous in February 2025. And they're giving quite a few rides. In fact, I believe they're giving already like 1,000,000 rides a week last time I checked. Or sorry, 1,000,000 rides a quarter, not a week. So yeah, the only competition that Google has is from China. That's it. But that's okay because China and Alibaba are going to commoditize it. See, the only people who are not going to commoditize AI are the ones that do not have a revenue stream from it. Elon has to charge you something for it because he has no other revenue streams besides lying. I mean, lying's a huge revenue stream for him and promising. Okay, fine. But he can't have it be a commodity. If it's a commodity, he's screwed. I mean, not completely. He just, it's not, AI is not going to be anything for him. I mean, he'll come up with some other lie. All of a sudden, he'll be, we're the leader in quantum computing. We're a $250 trillion company because we're the leaders in quantum computing. Everyone will be like, oh, Elon's a leader in quantum computing. Of course he's a leader in quantum computing. I'm just waiting for that to happen. It will happen. Mark it down right here. I guarantee within 5 years, Elon is going to open a quantum computing company and he's going to say he's the leader. And every fanboy out there is going to be like, Elon invented quantum computing. Of course he's a leader. He invented it on his own. He invented quantum physics, right? Guarantee it. I guarantee it 100%. But anyways, so that's what I got for you. The AI arms race is done. Google, Alphabet has won. If Microsoft, you imagine if Microsoft or Amazon were to develop their own proprietary technology, this late into the game, they come out with their own proprietary technology. What are they going to do? Are they going to push $10,000, $20,000 a month chatbots? No, of course not. Why? Because they already make so much money. We've already seen Microsoft's model. Okay? The only people who are not going to commoditize it are XAI and OpenAI. Or like Anthropic. But if they get it, then Amazon's going to do it. So it's commoditized, right? And what you might say, well, what do you mean? You keep saying that. What I mean is that we're not going to be paying $20,000 a month for agents. We're not going to be paying $200 a month for agents. Only morons or members of the cult are going to be doing that. Okay? The simple fact is that these agents are going to be free or next to free. Right? It could be something like it is right now with Gemini with their advanced system where it's like, okay, you get Gemini 2.5, you get our latest agent and you pay $20 a month and you get cloud storage and you get a discount at the Google store, all these things. Or it's going to be like AWS is going to, Amazon will be like, you get Amazon Prime. Oh, we have 2 versions of Amazon Prime. And so you get our, Claude agent, which is the best agent out there. Plus, you're going to get, Amazon Music, Amazon Streaming, blah, blah, blah. That's how it's going to be. That right there is absolutely how it's going to be. So this is a benefit to all of us. This is the best part of capitalism right here. Moments like this. And when I say this, I hope that you're not against capitalism because this, I think, is where capitalism shines, where we are going to get the best innovation out there, the best technology, because so many different companies are competing so freaking hard. This is the perfect example of where it benefits everybody, capitalism, right? Because if the government was involved or, just like with with electric cars. Look at electric cars. Over in America, we're stuck with offerings only from the big 3 and Tesla, basically. Rivian and Lucid are very small plays. That's what we're stuck with because the government said, oh, hey, we're going to step in and we love socialism and we're going to put 100% tariff on Chinese cars. So the consumer, me, who would love to have a Chinese EV, which are without a doubt the best EVs on the market and probably the best cars in the entire world. I don't have access to one. And so Tesla gets to overcharge, GM gets to overcharge, they all get to overcharge because the government is doing protectionism, right? They're doing socialism. They're saying, hey, we're going to interfere in this market. And I know that's odd to think for you Trump Elon guys, but that's what that is. That's what you call that. When the government interferes in a market like that, that's what that is. Okay, that's simply put. That's not capitalism. Capitalism is you have as many people competing as best as you can, and that benefits the consumer. Okay? That's not what's happening here. So this beautiful to me. This is absolutely great. I'm so happy that this happened. It was already in, the writing was already on the wall, but there's just the simple fact that Google is pulling farther and farther ahead. It shows us that the next, that this technology is going to be open and available to everyone. And to me, that's great. That's exactly what we want. Okay, if you like this kind of content, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you don't like it, leave me a comment as to why. Otherwise, have a great day.